So welcome back again, students, to another video lesson. So this will be our last video lesson for ungrouped data. So we have done discussing quartiles and deciles of ungrouped data using the two methods. So percentiles of ungrouped data naman po yung topic natin ngayon. Again, using the two methods. The first method is Mendenhall and Sincich method. And the second method is the linear interpolation. So to start with, let us have our lesson objective. So yung lesson objective natin, ganun pa rin. So we will calculate specified measure of position of the data. So percentiles of ungrouped data will be discussed using the Mendenhall and Sincich method and linear interpolation method. So dalawang beses na natin na i-discuss yung methods na yan. So I hope nagiging clear sa inyo kung anong process. So sa mga students na clear na sa kanila, so ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng percentiles sa quartiles and deciles? So let's start. So what is percentile? So percentiles are the 99 scores which divides the data into 100 equal parts. So we have there 99. Okay, so kapag quartiles, 3 scores divides the data into 4 equal parts. Deciles, 9 scores divides the data into 10 equal parts. So for percentiles, it divides the data into 100 equal parts. Okay, so using the illustration of quartiles, so ito muna yung papakita natin. Why? Yun po kasing first quartile, the lower quartile, Q sub 1, equal po siya sa value ng P sub 25, yung 25th percentile. Diba? Yung Q sub 1, that is 25%. Okay, 20 scores, 25% below the first quartile. Okay, next. Yung middle value na natin is quartile 2. So, quartile 2 is equivalent to P sub 50. Okay, so, yung Q sub 2, D sub 5, and P sub 50, pare-pareho po lahat yan ng value. Yun po yung ating median. Next, last naman natin is Q sub 3. So, Q sub 3, that is 75% of the scores below the upper quartile. Okay, so Q sub 3 is equal to P sub 75. So, kung kinuha natin yung value ng Q sub 1, so, at tinanong tayo anong value ng P sub 25, iisa lang din po ang ating sagot. Likewise, pag quartile 2, ganun din po yung value ng P sub 50 tsaka D sub 5. And then, kapag naman ang given natin is P sub 75 or 75th percentile, so, pwede rin nating sabihin na yun din ang value ng quartile 3. Now, using the illustration for deciles. So, ganun pa rin. Okay. So, P sub 10 is equal to D sub 1. P sub 20 is equal to D sub 2 up to P sub 90. So, sulat natin D sub 3, D sub 4, D sub 5, D sub 6, D sub 7, D sub 8, D sub 9. So, pare-pareho lang po yung value. Like, for example, 10th percentile is equal to the first decile. 20th percentile is equal to the second decile. And then, 80th percentile is equal to D sub 8 or the 8th decile. So, let's have Mendenhall and Sincich method. So, consider the illustration a while ago. So, ayan. So, mapapansin nyo, ito yung P sub 50 natin. Ito yung middle value, yung median. And then, yung nasa left side niya, yung lower than the 50th percentile, we usually round up. Okay. Next, yung nasa right side naman, yung P sub 60 up to P sub 90, okay, we round down. Okay, so, and then yung formula to determine the location, the position of the percentile is equal to k over 100 times the quantity of n plus 1. So, ang pagkakaiba lang nila is yung denominator. Again, kapag quartiles, the denominator is 4. It's because it divides the data into 4 equal parts. Pag decile naman, over 10, it divides the data into 10 equal parts. So, since percentile, so that is k over 100. So, ganun pa rin. Kailangan muna natin kunin yung location using this formula. And then, tsaka natin i-determine yung data, yung value na kinukuha natin once na meron na tayong position na na-obtain. So, let us have example number 1. So, here are the final grades of Raymar for the first semester of academic year 2020-2021. So, determine the 20th, 45th, and 70th percentile. So, we are looking for 3 percentile values. And then, dalawa dyan below the 50th percentile. And then, isa dyan is greater than the 50th percentile. So, apply natin yung ating unang step, which is to arrange the grades in ascending order. So, kung makikita nyo, ayan yung mga grades ni Raymar doon sa first semester, yung final grades niya. Ayan. Nakalista po lahat dyan. Ibig sabihin, kung bibilangin natin yan, meron siyang 11 na subjects. That is why n is equal to 11. Now, let us arrange the grades in ascending order. So, alin dyan sa mga grades ni Raymar ang pinaka mababa? That is 84. Next, after 84, we have 86. So, dalawa yung 86. Nag-appear ng twice. Sulat natin dalawang beses. Next, after 86, we have 89. After 89, we have 90. Then, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 98. So, ayun. Sana nasundan nyo sila. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, and 98. The lowest grade of Raymar is 84 and the highest grade is 98. So, yung highest and lowest score na yan, magkakaroon yan ng importance kapag group data na tayo. So, kung paano yan ina-apply, so yan na po yung ating susunod na video lesson. So, if we are to count the number of data, the score or grades written, arranged in ascending order, therefore, n is equal to 11. So, since naka-arrange na yung ating mga scores, so for letter B, we will be calculating the position and the value of P sub 20. So, applying the formula, so that is P sub K is equal to K all over 100 times the quantity of n plus 1. And then P sub 20 equals, so the value of K is 20, so 20 over 100 times the quantity of 11 plus 1. And then, yung 20 over 100, pwede natin siyang i-lowest term. So, ang 20 over 100 magiging 1/5. Kasi ang GCF is 20. So, 1/5 times 11 plus 1, that is 12. So, P sub 20 is equal to 1 times 12, that is 12 over 5. So, if we divide 12 by 5, so the position of P sub 20 is 2.4. So, 2.4. Then, since round up siya, so it will become third. Okay. So, tingin tayo sa ating data. So, the third data is 86. Therefore, P sub 20 or the value of the 20th percentile is 86. Now, how are we going to interpret our answer? So, P sub 20 corresponds to 20%. So, yung kanyang interpretation, so therefore, 20% of the students' final grade is less than or equal to 86. So for letter C, calculate the position and the value of P sub 45. So again, applying the formula, so P sub K is equal to K over 100 times the quantity of N plus 1. And then since P sub 45 of ang hinahanap natin, so the value of K is 45. Over 100 times 11 plus 1. Next, so yung 45 over 100, pwede po siyang i-lowest term. Yung greatest common factor nila is 5. So 45 over 100 will become 9 over 20. And then 11 plus 1, that is 12. And then 9 times 12, that is 108 over 20. So we are going to divide 108 by 20. So doing that, we'll get a quotient of 5.4. So yung position ng P sub 45, yung 45th percentile is 5.4, and then round up natin yon, it will become 6th. Okay. So, yung 6 data natin dito sa mga final grade na nakalista is 91. So, therefore, P sub 45 is equal to 91. Next, we are going to interpret. So, therefore, 45% of Raymar's final grade is less than or equal to 91. So that is the value of P sub 45. So last, calculate the position and the value of P sub 70. So the 70th percentile. So 70th percentile is equal to the value of the 7th decile. So pareho lang po sila ng value. So formula, P sub K is equal to K over 100 times the quantity of N plus 1. Next, P sub 70 is equal to 70 over 100 times the quantity of 11 plus 1. Next, P sub 70 is equal to 70 over 100 can be simplified as 7 over 10. The GCF is 10 times 11 plus 1, 12. Next, multiply natin yung 7 sa 12. That is 84. 84 over 10. So 84 over 10 or 84 divided by 10 is 8.4. That will become 8 kasi po round down. So kahit na hindi natin siya i-round down, hindi rin kasi naman natin pwedeng i-round up yung 8.4 as 9. It's because hindi naman po kasi nag-exceed ng 5 or equal to 5 yung tens value natin. So, we're looking for the 8 data. So, kung titignan natin yung ating mga score ay mga grades na naka-arrange So the 8 data is 93. So P sub 70, or the value of the 70th percentile, is 93. So what does this mean? 70% of Raymar's grade is less than or equal to 93. Okay. So kung 70% of Raymar's final grade is less than or equal to 93, so ilan yung 30%? Nasaan yung 30%? Ito po, nasa right side ng 93. 94, 95, and 98. Now, let us have the second method, which is linear interpolation. So, ganun pa rin naman yung ating definition for linear interpolation. We are using this method to determine the exact position and the exact value of the quartile values, decile values, and percentile values. So, here are the steps. So, bago tayo mag-linear interpolation, kailangan muna natin tong tandaan. So, paulit-ulit na lang po tayo dyan. Arrange the scores in ascending order. So, kailangan nating isaayos yung mga scores in ascending order pataas. So, kapag hindi po natin in-arrange, automatically, yung sagot po na makukuha natin, na kahit ano man ang sinusolve natin dito sa measures of position, automatically po mali. Next, after arranging the scores, locate the position of the score in the distribution. Okay. Yun yung second step. Ilo-locate natin. And then, after obtaining the location, the position of the score in the distribution, i-consider natin to. If the resulting position have decimals, proceed to interpolation. So, we are only using the linear interpolation if the resulting position have decimals. Like, for example, P sub 30. Ang nakuha nating sagot is, halimbawa, 8. Ayan, yung 8 position for P sub 30. So, we don't need to use linear interpolation. It's because eksakto naman po kasi nakuha nating sagot. Pero, if the value of the 30th percentile is like, for example, 8.8, ayan, notice that meron siyang decimal, yung 0.8. Saka lang po natin pwedeng gamitin yung linear interpolation. Now, let us have the steps of linear interpolation. Get the difference between the two values where P sub k is located. Okay. Yung example natin kanina, di ba? P sub 30, yung location nun is 8.8, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, yung 8.8 nasa pagitan po ng 8 and 9th data. Okay. Next, pagsusubtract po natin kung ano man yung values ng 8 and 9th data. After that, multiply the difference obtained in step 1 by the decimal part of P sub k. Okay. So, 8.8 ang decimal part doon is 0.8. So, kung ano man yung nakuha nating difference, like for example, D, i-multiply po natin sa 0.8. So, 0.8, ito po yung decimal part ng 8.8. And then, makakakuha tayo ng product. Okay. Next, add the result in step 2 to the second or smaller number. So, basically, sa dalawang to, 8 and 9th data, ang pinakamababa dyan, smaller number is yung 8 data, syempre. Kasi naka-arrange yung scores in ascending order. So, yan, 8, i-add natin dun sa nakuha natin sa step 2 plus P. Saka po natin makukuha yung position ng value ng P sub 30. So, yung exact value of P sub 30. So, let us have an example. Mathematics exam scores of 20 students of grade 10 Hope. Find the 35th and the 90th percentile. Ayan. So, ayan po yung mga scores ng 20 students na Great and Hope sa mathematics exam. So, we are to find the 35th and the 90th percentile. No. Now, how are we going to do? How are we going to identify the value of these percentiles? So, first, we are to arrange the scores in ascending order. So, i-arrange mo natin yung mga scores. So, kailangan ilista natin dito yung pinaka mababang score, and that is 23. Next, after 23, line of 3 po tayo. So, lahat ng line of 3, ito 36, 34. So, aside from that, wala na. So, lista natin 34, 36. And then line of 4, 42, 40, and 49. So, arrange natin yung 40, 42, 49. Next, line of 5, 56, 59, and 57. So, 56, 57, and 59. Next, line of 6, 61, and 66. Sulat natin 61, 66. Next, line of 7, 71, 74, 75, and 76. So, 71, 74, 75, 76. Line of 8, 83, 84, 87. Line of 9 is 98, and the perfect score is 100. So, ayan po, naka-arrange na po yung ating scores in ascending order wherein the lowest score is 23 and the highest score is 100. So, next, locate the position of P sub 35. So, the 35th percentile. So, exact position na po to kasi linear interpolation ng ating method na ginagamit. So, P sub K is equal to K over 100 times the quantity of N plus 1. P sub 35 is equal to 35 over 100 times the quantity of N plus 1. So, N is 20. Why 20? Because there are 20 students. Okay, so 20 plus 1. P sub 35 is equal to 35 over 100 times 20 plus 1, that is 21. So, pwede nating i-simplify yung 35 over 100 as 7 over 20. Kasi ang GCF nila is 5. Tsaka natin i-multiply yung 7 sa 21. So, P sub 35 is equal to 7 times 21, that is 147 over 20. So, kapag dinivide natin ang 147 sa 20, ang makukuha nating sagot is 7.35. So, 7.35 score, yung exact position ng P sub 35. So, ang 7.35, nasa pagitan po niyan ng 7th and 8th data or score. So, subtract the 7th data from the 8th data. So, sulat lang natin dito yung position ng P sub 35, yung 35th percentile, which is 7.35. 7.35. Nasa pagitan po ng 7th and 8th position. So, if we are to look for the 7th and 8th data, ang 7th data po natin is 56. And then, yung 8th data po natin is 57. So, ang gagawin lang po natin, subtract. So, 57 minus 56, that is 1. Next, multiply the result in step 3 by the decimal part obtained in the second step. Okay. So, yung nakuha natin sa step 3, 1, i-multiply natin dun sa decimal part. ng position na nakuha natin dun sa 35th percentile. So, ito po yun, 7.35. Yung decimal part niya is 0.35. Yun po ang multiply natin dun sa nakuha natin sa step 3, which is 1. So, 1 times 0.35 is 0.35. Next, add the result in step 4 to the second or smaller number. So, yung 7 and 8 data natin are 56 and 57. So, yung smaller data natin doon is 56. So, ang mangyayari, 56 plus yung nakuha natin sa fourth step, which is 0.35. So, 56 plus 0.35, that is 56.35. So, therefore, P sub 35 is equal to 56.35. This is the exact value of the 35th percentile. Thus, 35% of the student scores is less than or equal to 56.35. Next, locate the position of P sub 90. Okay, so P sub 90, so P sub k is equal to k over 100 times the quantity of n plus 1. And then P sub 90 is equal to 90 over 100 times n. N is 20 plus 1. So 90 over 100 can be simplified as 9 over 10. The GCF is 10. So 20 plus 1, that is 21. Next, 9 times 21, that is 189 over 10. So kapag dinivide po natin yan, we'll get 18.9. So this is the exact position of the 90th percentile. 18.9 is in between the 18th and the 19th score. So subtract the 18th data from the 19th data. So again, the value or the position of P sub 90 is the 18.9. Yun po yung exact position. Nasa pagitan po yan ng 18th and 19th na score. So sa ating data, yung pang 18 natin tsaka pang 19th na score natin are 87 and 98 respectively. Now, we will subtract them. So 98 minus 87, that is 11. So, kanina, 1 lang yung difference kasi magkasunod lang yung number. Pero dito, malayo yung value ng 18 sa 19. Kaya yung difference ay 11. Malayo din. Now, multiply the result in step 3 by the decimal part obtained in the second step. Okay, yung position ng 90. So, decimal part ng 18.9 is 0.9. That is why 11 times 0.9. So, 11 times 0.9 is 9.9. Next, add the result in step 4 to the second or smaller number. So, basically, ang mas mababa sa dalawang number natin is 87. So, that is 87 plus yung nakuha natin na 9.9. That is equal to 96.9. Therefore, the exact value of 90th percentile is 96.9. Okay, so what does this mean? 90% of the student scores is less than or equal to 96.9. Okay. So, almost perfect na yung score kasi malapit na tayo sa perfect score. Sa pinakamataas. Kasi 90% na yan. Okay. So, before we proceed to measures opposition of group data, let us first discuss on how to construct a frequency distribution table. So, kapag group data po kasi yung pinag-uusapan natin, so more than 30 data na kasi yun, more than 30 scores. So, kailangan na po natin i-present yun using a table, a frequency distribution table. So, kailangan ko muna kayong i-refresh sa lesson natin sa frequency distribution table. It's because na-discuss ang lesson na to during grade 7 pa. So, I hope bago nyo panoorin yung quartiles of group data, so kailangan panoorin nyo muna po yung ating video lesson for frequency distribution table. So, kasi maaring sasagot kayo sa modules nyo, then you were asked to construct a frequency distribution table. Okay, so, malay nyo, meron ganon. So, usually kasi, nakapresent na yung data in a table. Kaya lang, mas mainam na malaman nyo rin kung paano ang pag-construct ng frequency distribution table. So, that's all. Thank you.